Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another live episode of Jacob's Ladder. I am your host, Jacob Israel, and I hope you all got your smiles on for this one. Welcome. This show freaked me out, putting this together. But once again, it may mean nothing. I'm going to give you a little bit of a history lesson. We're going to learn some things about King Solomon and the queen of the demons, Lilith, otherwise known as the Queen of Sheba, otherwise known as a god that looks like a cat. Oh, this is a good show. This is a good show. Last night's debate had everybody excited, and everybody was, well, choosing their sides. And yet, me and a couple others noticed some other things that tonight we're going to talk about. Because there's a lot of weird things going on in the news, right? A lot of weird things that are being portrayed. A lot of cats, a lot of ducks, quack, quack. We talked about it a little bit on my last show. I called them cat comms and duck comms. But you know what? There's some symbolism to these two animals, house pets, and the kind of pets that you see when you go, to feed the ducks. All of these things causing a lot of stress and a lot of panic. And I got to tell you, out of everything that went down at the debate, that was one of the main focuses of that's what the outcome was. A lot of people are talking about how Kamala was, really kind of ribbing him for saying that they're doing this. Seemed like it was a little bit unfair, a little heavy-handed. These moderators, which didn't really fact-check, Kamala very often, it seemed, but did indeed kind of put Trump to the paces. Maybe that was done on purpose. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. That's going to be up for you to decide. But when you see the stuff that I'm about to share with you, this is just weird. All of this stuff is weird, and we know that weird by now means predestined. It's foreordained. So last night, the debate that went down, this is all the news. This is all that we're seeing right now. And on X, it's very it's coming very strongly against favoritism. And they're saying that, they really played favorites here with Harris during the debate, and that it wasn't really fair. There was like a list of things that went down, and it wasn't just about the cats and the dogs. But I can tell you, all of this is incredibly spooky, because what are we talking about? We're talking about some scary stuff, right? Halloween's right around the corner. The election's right around the corner. It's time to get everybody terrified. And terrified you will be, my friend, by the end of the show, but that's okay, because this is actually a good message too. Because in the book of Revelation, that's the end times, which is what we're in. Because Jesus said this generation will not pass until, these things are, all of them fulfilled. And this is a generation. Who knows how long it really is. But today, looks like all of these things that are in these ancient books, they seem to be coming true. So they were like coming strong against these moderators. They're saying the moderators were not good. A lot of people were saying that the mic was left on and she was talking over him quite a bit. Just like you're saying in the chat right now, I just noticed. And Ali in Wonderland, thank you for the super chat. But I'm telling you, there's more. There's more than just cats and dogs that we got to worry about in duckies. Okay? This is a bizarre show. And once again, I don't know. I was watching the pre-show. Danielle and I were watching it. And I was looking at it and I'm going, this is just so phony. I'm watching all of these people, all these talking heads, and they're supposed to be shooting from the cuff. And what they're doing is they're building it up. It's like Sports Center. They're building it up because, the big show. They're like, oh, is Trump going to be able to, come back from this one? Or is Rhonda Peterson? Thank you very much. That's right. If Rhonda's here, I know it's going to be a good show. I know everybody's going to do their part. They're going to hit that like button, right? And they're going to share it around. Because, Jacob needs the old help. The help from all of you. Very simple thing. Share it around. Tell people check this show out. By the end of the show, you're gonna be a little freaked out. I think you are. I think you're gonna be excited and freaked out. But Trump melts down, so says Rolling Stone, and makes up stories about migrants eating the old cats. You'll see at the bottom of the page, you see the Queen of Sheba is the one that visits Solomon. This is in the book of 1 Kings. What does this have to do with the debate last night, Jacob? It's a very strange thing to be talking about, right? Wait till you see. Wait till you see. It's all connected. It's all connected, or I just have too much time on my hands. Which I spend every second of getting this together for you. I just posted this a couple of days ago. I said Coinky Dinky Cat Comms from 9 months ago. I actually did a video 9 months from when this cat news came out. I said 2024 proves to be the year of God's judgment. We seeing a little bit of that right now? We seeing a little bit of people being held to the fire, people being revealed to be who they are? Candace was just, she was just demonetized, which is weird. Because I had a feeling that was coming. Remember I said, TikTok, Candace, it'll be less than 22 days. If you follow me on X, you'll see it. I just had a vibe. I have a vibe about a lot of these things. Just like Cuomo, too, who's being held to the fire. It is the year of God's judgment and correction. Now, who does God use to judge and correct wicked people? Somebody who's not going to take no for, not going to be like too forgiving. Somebody's going to like pound you and get you in shape, or else the Queen of the South rises up with this generation. The Queen of Sheba rises up with this generation. Now the name for that is Lilith, the night demon. You may remember Lilith from the game Diablo. All of this stuff is connected. How? You're going to find out. It's very odd. How's everybody doing? I'm trying to come a little bit earlier. I figured it would be fun. But in this show, you'll see that I noticed there were a lot of cat comms going on. We had Cat Williams. Remember he was talking? Cat Williams. Of course, Taylor Swift with her cats. Her boyfriend with the cats. Everybody with the cats. Now everybody's talking about the cats again. Here we are exactly, 9 months later? 9 months. It's like a pregnancy. 40 weeks is actually known to be a pregnancy. 40 days, 40 nights. 40 years in the wilderness. It's a symbol of being in this wilderness journey and then finally going into the promised land, which today, by the end of the show, you're going to see we're in, or we can be in at least. So I've had my eye on these cat comms for a while now, and I knew that there was something to it. I just didn't know that it was going to be, people saying that they're getting, eaten. I didn't, because I love my cat very much. But once again, what does this cat represent? Who is this cat? What are we talking about? Why are cats and ducks? When I think of ducks, I put this out there to you. By the way, yeah, I did a little thing with the ducks too, because of course that's all the rage right now is the ducks and the cat. I even put out a little duck comm. I said, duck comms, President Trump and ducks are all the rage with the cat comms I shared yesterday. This was yesterday. Now I know why I highlighted ducks exactly. 17 days earlier, there were 10,000 rubber duckies that were released in Chicago. And I was like, why are the rubber duckies being released in Chicago? Thought it was strange. It was 17 days ago. It was a little weird. You remember the rubber ducky that was on Neo's head too? But what does a duck represent? So I asked all of you. And you gave me the answers. Gave me a lot of answers, And the one that I came up with, which I think is the best, is The Ugly Duckling, which is a wonderful fairy tale by Hans Christian Andersen. Jacob, now you're talking about children's books? What's going on? It's all connected. You're going to see. This is just, once again, this is just for spiritual education and enlightenment, hopefully, and speculation, and just to have some fun, to look at things from a different angle and see maybe if there's a spiritual message going on. Like, could there be spiritual dark forces that are in charge? Yeah, could there be? Should we worry about Lilith, the night demon, basically manifesting in the world in a system that's going to come in and corrupt and, just and tear down and anyone who's corrupt? I think so. I think that might be an interesting thing. You better get all your ducks in a row, as Thaddeus said. You better go through life thinking, just water off a duck's back, right? You better learn to go with the flow, my friends. Remember, in the end, we got this 1,000-year reign of Christ, which just so happens to possibly coincide with 1,000 years when, the devil comes down to the earth. Woe unto you, the inhabitants of the earth, those that are corrupt. Woe unto you, because the devil's come down to you. But it doesn't say woe unto you to the good people. It says, rejoice you who are in heaven. You see, at the end, in the last days, in the judgment, which is about, they say 1,000 years, but then again, who knows? Because a day to the Lord, to God, this is in Scripture, is like 1,000 years. Days 1,000 years, right? But in the end, there's the wheat and the tares, and they're sifted. You decide who's the wheat, who's the tare. There's a goat, and there's, right? So there's going to be a time of correction. And this is the correction that I'm talking about. And the people that are used in this correction may just happen to be somebody you're familiar with. That Lilith that you've seen from that video game. Just strange. On the debate stage. Hey, the truth seekers in the house. Hey, truth seeker, I got a shout out for him too. He put something out this morning. He turned me on to the fact that everybody was at the memorial today because of course today's September 11th. It's a big deal. The anniversary of such a terrible, tragic event. It's my daughter's 21st birthday too. We're gonna get there. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but thank you for the super chat, brother. I appreciate it. So, I'm dealing with all this stuff and I'm going through this stuff. And then I go to X and I see the donut, which by the way, I may actually be on his show later today. I know we talk about it. I'm not really too sure if that's definitely going to happen, but there's a strong possibility that it could. In which case, I hope that you all check it out. You can go check out Alex. He's the real donut on YouTube. But he noticed that the debate stage looked very much like a smiley face. And that was just it for me. That was just it for me. How on earth did I miss that? I'm thinking, how on earth did I miss that the stage was a smiley face? Because, of course, that emoji, I've talked about emojis. I've talked about them before. And there's a possibility through speculation that the first round of 72 emojis could be based on 72 sigils of demons, seals. Yeah, I did a video about this years ago, okay? And I'll probably play a clip for you in a second, but let me just lay the groundwork here because I didn't know there was going to be a connection to cats with this smiley face emoji that I was looking at, which is just, weird. So if you see to the right of the smiley face, you'll see there is what's called a demon sigil. Now, if you don't know what a sigil is like it's a spell. You've probably seen Doctor Strange, right? He always holds those things, and they're always like these circular things, and they have all the letters and all the weird stuff on them. It's a sigil. Basic childish casting of spells. None of this stuff holds power over me, by the way. Just so you know, but there are people that put their faith in this stuff. They think that they can, right? But we know that the Lord kind of reveals the truth about things. And so when there is a stage that is an emoji, and that emoji is connected to a sigil of Sitri, who, by the way, has the perfect resemblance to a character that we learn about in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, the beast that rises out of the sea, right? Face like a leopard. Interesting. Catcoms everywhere you look. Ironically, this demon god, okay, the sigil of would be basically kind of a distinctive symbol that serves as a tool for anyone seeking to communicate with this demon who just, the sigil sort of looks like, if you look at it, center stage, next to the stage, it looks very much like a smiley face emoji. Weird. Weird, because if you go to Revelation chapter 13, the beast which I saw was like a leopard, and his feet were those of a bear. What does your feet do? Hold you up. Hold you up. What does a bear represent today? Do we know anybody? Any country represented by a bear? Anybody? Gives you the mouth of a lion. Anybody you know compared to a lion? Okay, now, I don't want you to think, because I know what you're doing. I know what everybody's doing. We got like almost 1,000 people here already. This is great. Kylie, I'm glad you caught a live show too. That's right, this is live. Lisa Gordon's here, Don's here, Keith's here, Sherry's here, everybody's here. Will you hit the like for me? Let's get some more people here. But Citri, this is where it gets weird, okay? You know what chaos magic is? Chaos. I always spell it chaos, like O-Z. Here, I'll show you. I have I think I have one of my old, let me see if I have. I don't know if I pulled it up. Oh, here we go. There's one of my old, almost exactly, what was that? I don't know if you can see on the screen. I think it's February 9th, 2024. Which would be, let's do the math here. I think that's February, right? Does it say February? Yeah, February 9th. Okay. February 9th. So you go March, April, May, June, July, August, September. That's 7 months ago. Welcome to Chaos, the magic show. Very weird. And then 5 months exactly ago, you got the demon smile. Who's holding the ear? Remember we talked about the old ear stuff going on? Poor President Trump got, Poor Jacob got right upside the head. Last night when I was listening to that debate, it was so loud I had to turn the TV off. I was like, I didn't know. I was freaking out. Something was going on last night because my head was just out of control. It was just out of control. But welcome to Chaos. So Chaos Magic is, if you don't know, I bet you McCoy knows. Thank you for the super chat. Chaos, it's like, you probably heard the old order out of chaos. Well, this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to, and I mean, maybe they're trying to. Maybe they're not. Okay? Let's hope that they're not. I just feel like the world's gotten pretty corrupt and that God's like, I'm done with this. And I think that right now that there is a massive effort going on to have a massive shift in power. And we're going to be dealing with some craziness. Order out of chaos means that there has to be massive amounts of chaos. Right now you think there is, but it's going to be laid on even thicker. I think. I hope not. I hope not. But if this demon is here and the sigil calls the demon, and the demon Citri is known as the chaos, god of chaos, from the Egyptian god of chaos, Seth. Okay? Largely believed to be evil, but really it's kind of like the devil is not great. Thank you very much for the super chat too. Lisa's pointing out Hosea 13 describes the same beast. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Very, very cool. And by the way, hit the like. Right now we got 7777, something like watching. Hit the like. Let more people get here. Seth, like the devil, is like the bad guy in the story in the Egyptian stuff. And then you got Osiris, right? So you got the brothers, like the twins. You got the sun god, the moon god, Artemis and Apollo, right? You got all that going down. Devil is very much like used to drive people back, believe it or not. A lot of people don't know this. They think the devil wants, to pull you away, right? And the devil tests you, the devil tempts you and all that stuff. Make sure that you're on the right path, because every shepherd sort of needs a sheepdog. There's a scripture that you may not even be aware of in the Bible. I'm not sure which book it is, but you can look it up. And they were upset because some of the people that they were like, teaching, ministering to, they were going way off the course. And so the instruction was in the letter, deliver them onto Satan for the destruction of their flesh. What's that trident that we always talk about? The Trishula, which divides. It's known in, I believe it's the Hindu faith, the Trishula, and it's used. I think it's the god Kali. I think so, Kali Mom or something. But it's used to like rip the flesh and the soul apart. That's right. This end times message is now being played in every single religion. Like everybody can kind of say this is the moment. The flesh being ripped away. Who's used? The devil. Deliver one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, so that the spirit may be saved in the day of the Lord. How many times have I told everybody to get their act together, to build that ark, because it's going to get nutty. It's gotten nutty, but now it has to go to this fever pitch. And what could possibly make something like that happen? But like another election where something goes and everybody's like, this isn't right. And then chaos comes up. So what they would do is that they would put the sigil and they would energize it. The sigil represents Citri's unique energy signature, and they try to capture that essence of chaos. And everybody was watching it. Everybody was looking at that smiley face. Now, I'm not saying that they legitimately tried to make, a demon sigil. That would be silly talk. But I'm saying it's interesting. If you want to look at it from a writer's point of view, this would be the story that I see on a spiritual level. Because, of course, emojis, they could be demons. I was talking to Lance about this on the phone when I was coming over here. And I was saying I stopped using, after I did this video on emojis, I stopped using emojis for a while because I was worried. I was worried that I may be conjuring. But really, there's no power over it. There's no power over it at all. All right, so listen, I'm going to play this right now just to give you an idea, because this talks about those sigils. All right? And it's very interesting because this is going to tie in.
King Solomon was known to have the greatest wisdom, and he had the greatest wealth. Queen of Sheba came to visit him, and she was so impressed with his wisdom that in the book of 1 Kings, chapter 10, she offers him all sorts of riches just to get her desire from him, which he gives in turn. So Professor Smythe's video goes on, saying that just as we didn't know what Solomon gave the Queen of Sheba, we don't know what Phillips, the archaeologist that discovered the stores, gave to the Sultan of Oman, who, of course, we do know, rewarded him handsomely. The seemingly insignificant, goofy video asked the question, what did this archaeologist give to the Sultan of Oman? Especially since they became such good friends because of what he found. Could it be a set of 72 sigils of 72 demons from this book?
Perhaps that power was given to the Sultanate of Oman. Now, why would that make any sense, right? Why would that make any sense at all? Okay, well, for one thing, do you know that in Saudi Arabia, they had a ban of cinema? No movies, couldn't watch movies for 35 years. But you know what the first movie they play is? The Emoji Movie, right? Like, it was like the worst movie ever. That's what, in the video, it talks about this, where it's like the worst movie ever, had like an 8 on Rotten Tomatoes, but that's the movie. That's the movie that they play in Saudi Arabia just like a year or so ago. He deduces from this that this Emoji Movie was really kind of a ritualistic, symbolic unsealing of all of these 72 demons, because at the end, all the emojis can become whatever emoji they want to be, and it's like chaos and mass hysteria. Weird. Okay, weird. Well, you know what's weirder is when you look at these seals, and some of them do kind of line up with the emoji, like this. And like this. Now, who's in charge of the emojis? There's a body known as Unicode, okay? They're kind of in charge of the emojis, right? Okay, now here's the weird thing, is that Unicode, if you go to their website, which Professor Smythe, the puppet, does in his video, you can see who the voting members are, the highest tier voting members. And some of them make sense, you know, Google, Facebook, IBM, stuff like that, Netflix, right? But then you got the Ministry of Religious Affairs of Oman. What's that? What is that doing there? That's something else.
A bit of history.
If you think about it.
King Solomon was
Something
known to
else
have the
indeed.
greatest wisdom.
Because there was this crazy discovery that was made. And there was that meeting between Phillips, this archaeologist, and the Sultanate of Oman. And Oman is connected to those 72 original emojis. Now, here's the weird thing. You know, a lot of people say demons, and they say that demons are not what you think, that demons are like AI. Who knows this? You got to say it. You got to say it. Tsunami Surfer says, Jacob's been on it for years. I've been doing this for a long time. I love going back and seeing things get connected together. But the weird thing is that maybe there is something to this. Because what is a demon? But a demon is a messenger of the devil. And what is the devil? The devil is the father of all lies. The murderer from the beginning. If he is the father of all lies, and I don't mean to like anthropomorphize him. Did you like how I used that big word? I think I've never used that word before. I'm so proud of myself for pronouncing it right. Anthropomorphize. I didn't mean to make the devil like a man, because the devil is like a spirit, right? So, but the murderer from the beginning there's no truth in him because there's never been any truth in him. If there's no truth in something, it means it's a lie. And any demon would be a messenger of that lie. So it would be a lie. And what is a lie? A lie is spirit. It is a word. Is it a word that is not true? Thank you very much, Sea Glass Rocks. I appreciate it. He says, or she says, is it a coincidence that emoji equals 83? Oh, I don't know. Spooky. The whole thing is spooky. But I'll tell you one thing. AI, a lot of people think that the AI are the demons. And now here's really weird, because I've done, of course, the videos where I talk about the frogs, the unclean spirits that come out of the mouth of the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. And I understand this all to be spiritual, right? But then in the natural, we have these AI companies that seem to be connected to the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. And when Christ is about to be birthed in the world, when that ugly duckling turns into a swan, when Christ is about to be birthed into the world, what happens is the devil comes down and he floods the earth, right? He's going to test him and try him, just like he did to Job. He had to have God's permission to do that. See, this is the reason we need to look at life's speed bumps in a different way. Because you may end up in the sand trap for a reason. And you're going to see that that's being portrayed right now in the media as well. So, smiley face stage. Citri, who happens to be the cat god, always portrayed as a cat. Right there in the thumbnail of the video, you see that that's Citri, who is also known as the Queen of Sheba. Sheba's a cat. Everything with the cat. Even Elon was like, okay, Taylor, I will have your babies. And I will take care of your cats, or something like that. Do you know that she just loves that cat? Cat comms. Duck comms. What's going on, comms? What does any of it mean? Do you think that they're really doing this? Do you think that they're all like grand sorcerers? Do you think that this is a simulation, maybe? And we're in this kooky show, and it's gone off the rails. It's gone off the rails. Who wants to know the truth? You know what you can do? You ask for it. You say, teach me the truth. And on the back of the shirt, it says, no matter what the cost. You want to know the truth? You don't want to be possessed by the devils, meaning you believe the lies. You ask for the truth no matter what the cost. It's funny. I think it was Lisa sent something over to me about somebody who, a YouTuber or something that, kind of claims that they did this certain thing and then they're healed by it, and was just like, well, what do you think of this? And I said, well, they could be lying. It could be lying. I'm not saying that God doesn't heal. That doesn't have mirror, but I do know a lot of people lie. And if it sounds too good to be true, sometimes it is. See, a diamond, there's a process before that diamond gets on somebody's, hand in marriage. Right? It's what was it? The pressure of the coal. So you'd have the coal being pressured so much you could turn it into a diamond. And anybody get coal in their stocking when they were growing up? I did. I did. I didn't. I did. My mom, she didn't have much money. She was 19 when she had me. It was a hard time. It was a hard time for her. We grew up. I started in the projects. Can you believe that? Oh God. But you know what? Where am I today? Where am I today? You're going to see that God has his hand on us and he refines us as a silversmith, refines silver over, as I've said before, the hottest part of the flame. And the hottest part of the flame may be known as Lilith. This goddess of the demons, who just happens to be the sigil stage. What? How is Lilith? How do I extrapolate the look of a stage and bring it all the way to Lilith? Well, it's because of the emojis. And because it's very clear, it looks very clear, could just be me, but it looks very similar to the smiley face. You can go back, by the way, and find that video that I did and watch that video from all those years ago where I actually had, my hair was much darker. I've aged quite a bit. I've aged quite a bit since then. But my goodness, is it not exciting? Is it not exciting the day that we're in? So they had this debate. What did you think of the debate? You're going to have to tell me in the comments. And hopefully by now you've hit the like if you're watching. What did you think of it? Did you know that there was maybe some big spell going on? I don't know if there is, once again. But I'm saying it's strange. That does look like a smiley face. That does look like that demon sigil for Citri. Demon sigil for Citri has the face that is of the beast, that has the leopard in it, which is Revelation 13. Taylor Swift is known for the number 13. Russell Brand's doing his Bible studies on Revelation 13. 13 is about the beast that rises up and stands on the sand of the sea. And a wise person knows that you shouldn't build your house on sand. That's not smart. But there's a lot of sand in the news too. How funny is this? How it all starts to come together. Teaches us a little bit of a lesson. So there you'll see in Isaiah 34:14, among the howling and the hissing wild creatures and demons, Lilith herself, demoness of the night, will call Edom her haunt. Edom is going to be the haunt. Remember Sound of Edom? I did a video when the sound of, freedom was going around. Edom is, there's these two kingdoms. There's the kingdom of Edom and there's like Israel. Because they both cut, there's like Esau and then there's Jacob. These two kingdoms. Lilith finds her haunt to be Edom. And what is she going to do when she's there? Well, in Matthew 12, this is the end times. The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation and shall condemn it. A lot of people think that story means, that, Queen of Sheba, Queen of South, Lilith, Citri, is going to, it's like kind of, there was a literal queen and that literal queen is going to, somehow be, resurrected here for an end time judgment, maybe reincarnated here, some people will say. This is one way of looking at it, but really, this is a spiritual war that we're in, right? We wrestle not against principalities of like flesh and blood, but principalities and powers and rulers of spiritual darkness and wickedness. This is the spiritual war that's going on. And so when the Queen of the South rises up, when the Queen of the South rises up with this generation, as Lilith seemed to appear in New York City on the Diablo on 6/6, right? 2020, what was it? 2022, 666, where Lilith appeared. Well, this is that time. This is that time. And guess what? Guess what Lilith does? Lilith condemns it. For she came from the uttermost part of the kingdom to hear the wisdom of Solomon. Solomon. So the queen of the demons came over and said, I'm going to give you power over these 72 demons. But you're going to give me your wisdom. And they exchanged. And then those, demon sigils. I mean, could it be like these 72 powerful AIs? I don't know. But I do know it's all working together for the good of those that love the Lord. God is in charge. This is the day we're in. The God of chaos. 7 months exactly to the debate last night. The Wizard of Oz. All of these things that are playing out, something to this rubber ducky story. There's something to this cat, because the cat, once again, the cat is Lilith. The cat is Citri. The cat is that happy face emoji, right? The one we all use so much. But once again, don't be freaked out. Lance brought this up. I thought it was great. There's a scripture in the New Testament where Paul would eat, meat sacrificed to idols, right? So they took a goat and they sacrificed the goat to Citri, we'll say, or Lilith, right? And Paul would be like, yeah, throw that on the grill for me. He didn't care. He didn't care about using emoji because he knew it didn't mean nothing. He goes, it's just like children at play. When you understand that the true God, the only God, the real God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Jesus, this God, the God that everyone in the world sort of knows, but religion comes in and twists everything. It's going to work all things together for the good, and it's going to tell you ahead of time what's coming. And then here I come on and I try to tell you, try to get you ready. Get you ready, little rubber ducky. Because maybe you're about to be turned into a swan. And maybe the others that need a stronger hand, maybe they're going to get scratched. Are you getting all your ducks in the row? You know the story of the ugly duckling, right? Everybody made fun of him. Well, cat was one of them, I believe. All the animals. Mock. And then one day, like me, how am I going to get ahead? How am I going to do this? How can I make a difference? How can I reach more people when no people are being reached? It's just the same amount of people all the time, which is wonderful because it's a lot. We're strong, right? But I'm like, I don't know how I can't do it. I can't do it. I tell them, I ask them, I say, will you please share? Will you tell people? Will you encourage? Say, check this out. Wow, what a great show. How can I do it? I don't know. Insecure. Then one day you look at yourself in a puddle and you're like, oh, I look like a swan. I'm so beautiful and regal. One day you arrive, my friends. One day you dance into the kingdom and your dance may not be looking so good. People are going to make fun of your dance like they made fun of David. I don't know if you're following me on X, but on X, I put out a song. And a really cool one, too. Go Jacob Israel 71. Follow me on X. Make sure, and you want me to follow you, same thing. Just tell me. Just add Jacob. But I put very specifically the dance of David when the king dies. The king of darkness, right? The king of the when Saul's kingdom, when Jonathan and Saul, they died. David was given a crown and he danced. And he danced in such a way that it really got some people so very upset. Thank you, Bernie, for the super chat. So upset. So upset. But you're going to find out today that your dance, no matter how really bad you dance, doesn't really matter. How do I know this? Because that's what's being featured in the world today. Okay? Just remember the viral kangaroo. On our last Patreon meetup, which we're going to do every other week. We may start doing every week, where we all get to talk and we all get to hang out on Patreon. If you want, the links to Patreon's in the description of the video below. It's a great way to support the channel, and this is a great way for us to kind of communicate with each other. I'm going to be doing it around 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I want it to be Sundays. Seems like Sundays works the best. But the last time we were there, Joanne Breeze, she has 17 kangaroos on her kangaroo sanctuary. And we talk about kangaroos, and she had the baby Joey in her hand the whole time when we were talking. This beautiful story, how she, she's been following me for so long, and how, all she went through. And, I'm not going to get into the things that she said, but it reminds me, it's like, what can I do? All I can do is I do what I love to do, and God does some beautiful stuff in everybody's lives. As long as you take Christ with you, you don't come to the well just to have a drink and you leave without seeking the truth for yourself. But the viral Olympian Ray Gun, known as Ray Gun, Rachel is her name, Gun, or Rochelle, she is now ranked #1 in the world for breakdancing. If you saw her breakdance, it was... I got to tell you, if you watch it, it makes you laugh. It brings joy to your heart. It really does. And it's a lesson. Instead of, pointing it out and making fun of it and tearing it down and everything else, why is it being showcased? Why is it featured? Why? They didn't like the way they even danced either. Levi on X, he's great too. You should follow him. He pointed that out too. He said, no, they didn't like the way David danced. And it was interesting. I said, did you do that because I put up David dancing? It's a beautiful thing, but now recognized as #1. And I said, how long is it going to be before, influencers are going to feign outrage and get riled up? But that dance that I'm talking about, it's coming. It's coming. The problem is that we have to endure some things like this. Let me show you this. This is Time magazine. That's their cover today. And I don't know if you noticed, but there is some quicksand. It looks like he's in a trap. A sand trap. And what does sand represent again? What does it represent again? It represents, a faulty foundation. Anything that's not built on Christ, anything that's not built on truth, sand. But the sand, get this if you can, your generation shall be as the sand. Whew. It's interesting. It's interesting. Start to put this stuff together. But the sand trap, Time on the cover of Time magazine, you see how he's stuck. And they're saying, Kamala knocked Donald Trump off course. So I asked everybody, I said, what do you think? And Travis is like, sand traps in progress. Sand traps your progress. And I was like, yep. You have to get out of that sand trap, huh? And sometimes it takes 2 or 3 swings. Like if you're playing golf and you get in the sand trap, sometimes it's hard to get out unless you're a skilled player. And you know that you're only there for a second. And you shouldn't freak out, shouldn't hit it too hard. You shouldn't hit it too light. You should give it the exact loft. Lift that ball up. You better lift that thing up that's in your life with the proper lift. And you can get a birdie, baby. You can get a birdie. I tried to play golf with Tone. I told you on one of these shows just a little while ago, Anthony. And I had to stop because I was in a cart and I couldn't finish. But you get in that sand trap. If you're a skilled player, you could turn that little pause, that little check, that little Balaam's donkey that I talked about in the last show, as an opportunity. Why am I in this sand trap right now? Why? Now, what's interesting is Eddie said, I'll play along. How about the Middle East for one? Interesting. The Middle East. And here I'm talking about Saudi Arabia and Oman. And I'm thinking there's something to do with the sand and the sand traps that maybe we'll see in the future. Something about this that just seems not so great. If you build your castle on sand, it's going to be a problem. You can't build the kingdom of God on sand. You can't build your life on sand. You got to build it on a strong foundation. You know who didn't build their life on a strong foundation? Is Cuomo. Yeah. So you probably remember I did a weepy video. I could be a little sensitive. Who knows that Jacob could be sensitive? I could be crying and stuff. I do. Sometimes I do. But I was so bummed out because Shiloh worked so hard for so long in school. She got honors and everything. Shiloh, today's her birthday. My daughter, 22. She got into her dream school. For whatever reason, she always wanted to go to Binghamton. She got into every one of her schools, but she also got into this select, only 22 students, 22, get chosen for this thing at Binghamton. She really wanted to go. She got a scholarship there. But then this guy, this buffoon, all right? This guy. Oh, all the schools, all the schools got to get them dates of man. You got to have something if you want to go to your dream school. Now, it turned out it's pretty funny how God works, because I was all upset. I was so upset that I actually put this out. And I said, let's see how this tweet ages, because I felt righteous indignation towards Cuomo, who I watched, him saying that these nursing homes had to have these people who had the virus of the crown, had to use it. These things. I looked at this. I saw those videos of the people from the prisons that spilled over. And then you hear about, as the days go, you feel it, and you hear people saying, oh, and then he has a book coming out, and he got millions of dollars for his book, and everybody was like, he's the guy, remember? And I said, let me tell you something, pal. I said, top left-hand corner on May 10th, 2021, let's see how this tweet ages. If Cuomo is corrupt in this, may the Lord reveal all of his corruption to the world and bring such people who seek to harm God's children to their knees in repentance. And may they be stripped from their political position of influence. Amen. And yesterday, God's judgment was revealed against Andrew Cuomo exactly 40 months after that post. 40. We've been in the wilderness for how long? Right? In the desert, in the sand. We're in the thick of it for how long? 40 years. 40 months exactly after I asked God to do something, if they be corrupt. That was my first if they be corrupt post. And the House finds Cuomo exposed nursing home populations and lied about it. His deadly directive. He was being held to the fire about all this. Being brought to light as I prayed. Nothing, I said, nothing that's been hidden that has harmed us is going to be hidden for much longer. I have this strong feeling. That's why I've always said 2024 is a year as if they be corrupt. It's going to be revealed. It's being revealed. It's being revealed. All of you that are watching right now, and thank you for watching, make sure you give me a comment and say what this means. And make sure if you just share it and be bold and tell people you should really watch this, because this is the day that we're in. When everybody was so scared, I knew that we would have the moment. And then I hear these people are being held to account. These people are being held to account. And it's going to get more and more, and you're going to see. Because if they be corrupt, this is not the day. This is not the day. Today's my daughter's birthday. Shiloh. That's her, by the way. I want to show this to you because this is an important thing that was probably a turning point in my life. When she was 2 years old, and I was in the hospital, the ICU. I was not doing well. Not doing well at all, and I thought that it was going to be kaput. I had one blood transfusion after another blood transfusion. It was not a fun time. And I didn't think that things were going to look too good for me because, of course, my wife and I, my first wife, divorced. When we were in Texas, she decided she didn't want to be married anymore. Always said I was a great father. I ended up with custody of the children. It was a difficult time. And we're all good. Everybody's great. She's in Texas right now. And I think that, if you are, say, a divorced parent or a parent who's getting divorced or whatever, I'm going to ask you to do something for me because this is going to be a blessing upon your life and your children's lives. Even if a parent is like a deadbeat, all right? You tell your children that they love you the way that they're meant to love you for now. And you foster and nurture a relationship. I made mistakes in the past where because I wasn't doing well. I lost everything. My first house gone. I was living in this small little apartment. I used to take the kids to collect cans. It's no joke. We did it. Because I thought it would be fun, teach them a lesson. We make a couple bucks. Go get an ice cream or something. I had a hard time. Lost everything. I was very, very ill. Okay? Very, very ill. And I was in the hospital and because I have Crohn's disease and I have something called ankylosing spondylitis. Okay? But the Crohn's disease was really bad because I would hemorrhage. And they couldn't get this bleed to stop. So here I am in the ICU. I have the priest coming in. They read the last rites. Got to, everybody in the prayer circles. Everybody's worried about me and everything else. And I call up my ex and I said, can you bring Noah and Shiloh? This was before Shiloh turned 2 years old. This is like a day or two before. And she couldn't do it for whatever reason. But I said, Lord, just get me out for her birthday. And then I'll know that you got my life. The next day, a specialist doctor ends up coming in. And they had to shut down a whole, I don't know, system of artery or vein. Well, I don't know exactly how it is. They had put coils. There's a lot of them. I wish I had a picture I could show them to you. And they just shut it down. So the bleed stopped. I think I had like a day, maybe another blood transfusion or whatever. But my daughter's birthday, I was released from the hospital. And I got her, and I brought her and my son Noah fishing. That day, Noah caught 7 fish. Shiloh caught the 8th. Shiloh caught the 8th. Now, today is a very important day because it's harmed and hurt so many people. But today's my daughter's birthday, too. A lot of good can come out of pain. A lot of good can come out of pain. All hope seemed lost. It would be 6 months from my divorce that I would have primary custody of my children. The man that was in their life that was, I don't even want to get into it, no longer going to be a thing. And by the way, this guy's been in jail and everything else. God is taking care of him. We don't need to take the law into our hands. What we need to do is trust that God's going to avenge, and God avenges. Just like Cuomo. We are more than this world. We don't have to operate according to the ways of this world. There is no power in darkness. There's much more power in the light. That's why Jesus said, he said, my kingdom is not of this world. If it was, I would do what you do. I'd have armies come and fight for me. But this is not my kingdom. I don't want to see people fight. I don't want to see chaos come. I don't want to see all of these influencers like Tim Pool, who, that word, those 2 words, it was that Marvel movie, Civil War with those 2 words. How many times did I see it on his page? Let me tell you something. We're all one. In God, there's one God, right? We're so divided here. We can't let this divide us anymore because there's going to be order. But the order is going to come out of some terrible chaos unless you get yourself right. Then you won't be a part of it. You'll be sitting back, and you'll feel bad for all of them. You won't want to see them suffer, even though they've caused so many to suffer. I'm not at that point yet. I still want to see bad people be taken from their positions of power. I don't like the way the world is. I don't like the things that I'm seeing. But I also know that psychologically we are under assault in every area. And I know that particularly this summer for me, from the accident on July 20th to trying to get my wife another car, to worrying about that. And now I just had the dryer fixed, which is nice. One thing after another, like a hornet, there's like a hornet's nest out in the yard I got to take care of. All these things, they start to pile up. You're in a sand trap, right? You're in a sand trap. You got to get out of the pit. You got to get out of the pit. Just right now, Trump's in a sand trap. That's what it seems like. But we're right there together, all of us. But if we square ourselves up and we really look at that problem, we're going to find that that ball is not that big. And if we really kind of can just really skillfully, not angrily, smack that ball and lift it up and bring it up to God, I think that we're going to find ourselves doing much better. I wish that I could share a picture of my daughter up today. I just don't want any of you to know what any of my children look like. So I can show you the younger ones. Not that I don't trust you or anything else, but let me show you what Revelation 13 says. Okay? Because sand is where all of this is going down. And I stood on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth was the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and his great authority. And I saw one of those heads as if wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. But the beast, I'm not going to tell the story and say, oh, it's Donald Trump, oh, it's Kamala Harris. I'm not going to tell you that. Oh, the dragon is Elon because he wears the devil's champion outfit and he has SpaceX Dragon, and the dragon, Elon, gives power to the beast. I'm not going to say that. Hey, Wayne, what's up, brother? Thank you for the super chat. I'm not going to say that because really, this is an inward battle. And what does it matter what's going on out there? Let's focus on our lives. Let's focus on our faith. Let's focus on our walk. And let's understand that God's got us. Just as I had nothing back then. Now I got this beautiful house, which, by the way, this house we got in foreclosure for the same price as our small little house. Okay? And it was my wife's dream house from when she was a child because she lived down the block. And she always loved this house and always thought, one day I'll buy this house. And the Lord gave us this house. From nothing to something. And I'm telling you, we got a lot farther to go. Just as David danced into the kingdom and he looked kind of silly doing it, I know I look silly doing the things that I do. I am aware of that. I talk to big name influencers and spiritual, leaders sometimes, and I can hear myself talking to them. And I know that what I'm saying to them sounds so ludicrous. When I talk to my friends, I know the same thing is true. I know the same thing is true. I probably sound completely, but to all of you, come on, right? We're family. This is an amazing journey we're all on. We all have amazing testimonies. Thank you very much, C-Glass, for saying that. Why don't you share them? Why don't you put a little paragraph of like where you've been to where God's brought you to now to where you're going. Little paragraph in the comments section. Sometimes you got to write stuff down to remind yourself, And that's it. All right, so that's the show. I hope that it was. I hope it was great. I love all of you so much. Once again, really this show is supposed to be about more than just what you're seeing in the political landscape of things. And no, I don't really think there's like this thing going down with the demon sigil, but I know spiritually it's happening because I see it there. I see it there. So it's a message for us. And the question is, what do you do with the message? Hopefully you're going to leave a comment. You're going to let me know. And you're going to share your testimony. And you're going to lift up those that are around you. And you're going to love people. And you're going to forgive people. And you're not going to get bogged down in cats and ducks. Right? Cats hunt and kill ducks. But ducks turn into a swan. Cat ain't going to mess with a swan. You know what I'm saying? I don't think ducks turn into swans, but it was an ugly duckling because it was never a duck to begin with. You get what I'm saying? All right. I love each and every one of you. Go to the description of the video. Get yourself a copy of The Calling if you want to read. It's like the best novel ever. Get yourself some of the merch. If you want, trulyfreehome.com is my sponsor. You go to trulyfreehome.com. Enter code Jacob, you get 30% off. They got a big special going on. That's another way to support the channel. Instead of buying stuff at like your store, spending more money and, putting a bunch of chemicals, you can buy from them. Get it sent to your house. And you put in code Jacob, you get it for 30% off. Less than people that are buying it, mainstream. And they're like everywhere now. I see their commercials everywhere right now. Steven's really blowing up. Thank God for that. Because we're going to need some good godly people, offering us products that are going to help us heal. All right. I love you all. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.